Don't Know Sports Podcast. This is Chadthemark with
Mr. Brown.
And
the artist formerly known as Canadian Biggie because I'm not down with wildfires.
all right, so you're protesting the wildfires of the name change? Do you have a symbol like Prince did do? Is that what's happening? Or he's throwing up the X?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, suck it. If you ain't down with that.
Biggie's got 2 words for you. Oh, that's a great way to start.
I am Canadian Biggie. I'm just not down with the wildfires.
I appreciate that. We had a little concern this past weekend if we were going to encounter any wildfire shenanigans because we
Arson.
Probably. No, we went to the Cleveland game. We went fishing for walleye. Mr. Brown, are you recovered from the weekend?
Yeah, I felt like we was actually responsible adults this time. So
Speak for yourself.
exactly.
But
I did good.
We had early nights.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. But what was your take of Cleveland and walking around the town and then the baseball game?
I like Cleveland, the town, more than I like the stadium. I'm just not a fan of Progressive, but I like the food.
You ever been, Biggie?
Years ago when it was Jacobs.
Okay. That's the same field, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
The food was great. I love what we sat down and ate. Now I don't remember what the name of it was, but we had everything.
Butcher and Brewer, something like that.
Yeah,
Brewer
there you go.
Butcher.
There you go.
One order or the other.
We had this conversation earlier in the week where you're saying you really loved Comerica because the Tigers have been the Tigers for how many years? The Indians are no longer the Indians. So, like, what do you go through the stadium where you see the nostalgia? Did they strip that away too?
Let me give you a little history lesson
That's a
there.
good
I'm
question.
glad you brought up Detroit because I didn't realize this till yesterday that the original Tigers Stadium opened up the same year that Fenway did in 1912.
Damn.
And they shut down in 1999 was their last year. Comerica opened up in 2000. So for me, a stadium with only 23 years existence, but they still have that rich history, they've done a great job of just modernizing it. And the architecture is amazing. The concrete tigers hanging over the stadium, the Ferris wheel, the carousel, the tigers. Great for the kids.
Those concrete tigers are massive.
They are.
Like, people don't understand.
Right.
They are gigantic.
Then you got that right when you walk in. You have the Miggy chair. You can sit down where there's Triple Crown. That's a great tourist attraction right there.
Great place to eat ice cream.
Correct. Yeah. So, I mean.
But so his question about Cleveland. So I don't know what it was like before, but now, yes, it feels like they've stripped any history away.
Yeah.
Like
I think
so their nostalgia is here's a G with Hermes wings or whatever.
I think that, I brought that up this weekend, was that the Indians have a lot of history. Their franchise has a lot of history, even though they haven't won a World Series since '48. But, I mean, they have a lot of baseball culture there. But, like I said, they're starting over a new identity. So, like, what's a Guardian? You know, they got in the playoffs last year, and that mascot, the logo's generic as hell.
Everything feels like
it
feels like a creative team on like a video game.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
It reminds me of like a travel ball team.
Yeah.
They remind me of like when Saints couldn't play at home because of Katrina. Yeah. So they were playing in Houston. So it was the Saints, but they had no fan base. So now it's the Indians. They're still playing in Cleveland, but they got a different name. You're not connected to anything. You're not connected to Albert Bell and El Presidente.
That being said, as vanilla as we felt the experience was, how was the crowd?
The crowd was good.
It was. The
crowd was good. The game itself was amazing. I mean, when I talk about Cleveland, I'm solely only shitting on the stadium. The game was amazing. Yep. The food was amazing. The city was cool. I liked the setup. Other than Warner trying to get his shoes robbed or whatever, but it was good. That's big if he knows what it means.
So if you're ever in a foreign city, strange city you're not used to, a lot of times the locals can pick you out. So if somebody comes up to you and they go, "Hey, sir, I bet I can tell you where you got them shoes at."
Yeah, they're robbing you.
See?
Or like wanting money, but
they might be trying to get.
Tell him Warner's response.
I can't remember what he said. I just knew
Warner had no clue because he's straight redneck, and that guy says that. I bet you $5 I can tell you where you got them shoes. And Warner's like, "I ain't from around here. I don't know what you're talking about."
like the worst response you can give. Like, he already thinks I'm not. I'm going to let him know for sure. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But I quickly grabbed him. And I was like, he's got him on Euclid Street or wherever we were at.
Yeah, that's what we said.
And he's like, you got it.
Warner was dead serious. He's like, I don't remember where I got him online, $40-$50. Look him up.
He took it very literal.
Yes, we're here for tourism advice too. If you ever need it, we're trying to keep you from getting mugged out there. But that was pretty funny. But there is a common theme that I have noticed, because just tell the audience listening, you're also going somewhere. Is it next weekend?
Yes.
And ballpark tour.
Yep.
And we're going to Colorado. Is that where you're at?
Coors Field versus the Angels.
And you had a little, I wouldn't say anxiety, but a curiosity peaked about. It happened to be Pride Night when you were going to Coors, right?
Right.
Well, it just happened to be Pride Night when we're in Cleveland. Did it change the experience of the game for you at all?
No, I mean, I could care less, first of all, but...
Biggie, we had a marriage proposal right in front of us.
Marriage proposal, but here's the thing. I showed Biggie the sign earlier. The dude outside
about that.
with the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
So we're walking up, first appearance of the stadium, we're walking up. There's a dude preaching, with the microphone.
Immediately thought because of Pride Night.
No, I don't, and I didn't. We didn't know at that point, so we don't know anything about Pride Night. There's a dude preaching, and then I'm like, okay, I thought he was just preaching, So then we're getting up there, and I see this woman walk up to him, flip him off, and say, "F you, creep!" And I'm like, man, they must really hate religion. Well, then we get up a little closer,
and we get stuck in line.
And he has a sign that's basically saying, no masturbating, no sports, no
fun,
no false gods, basically you can't breathe, right? And this big long sign of like 35 items. And then, so he's preaching, and this is how he's preaching for real. And this isn't me exaggerating. He was like, you homos better listen to me. If you like anal sex and you don't know Jesus, you're going to hell.
Then he'd follow that up with if you like the baseball players more than Jesus, you're going to burn. And then he was educated. He started dropping names.
Yeah, he's like, Jose Ramirez is not your savior. Only Jesus Christ.
What?
Did you holler at him?
No.
You tell him, hey, buddy, that butt stuff been going on for a few thousand years. The tucking the dick in the ass is new. Focus on that one.
Well,
I don't think that was on his list. No self-mutilation.
We'll keep that part out.
Here's the thing, though.
You can leave it in. I'm good with it.
So he was doing this to everybody, and then then we figure out it's Pride Night, and people, once we go through the line, there's people wearing the rainbow-colored jerseys, and I'm sitting there thinking, how did this guy not get mugged?
Well, because most of those people, I don't believe were gay. It was just, white women in ponytails and hats. And I'm telling you, I saw more of those with the flags than anybody else.
So it was like Cheyenne, Kellyanne.
All it would have taken was two females with those.
They probably could
would have took this guy down. He was like a skinny Middle Eastern man preaching.
Yeah, he wasn't a very big man.
Connie, Amanda Lynn, Tammy Lynn. Those were the people that walked by.
He's still on the name. Yes.
Okay.
They were. I'm glad you understand what I'm talking about.
I get it. I want to hear what I get.
It took him a minute to process that. But anyway, packed house, good experience for the fans. Great game. 14 innings?
Yeah.
And then, everything was closed when we got out, so it was hard to find a snack. And me and Warner had to find the casino.
Me and Lana had Ubered the pizza guy company or something.
Yeah, so we ended up walking around at midnight or 1 a.m. and got the same
telling
food.
me at midnight in Cleveland you can't get a good bite to eat?
Everything closed at 11. We went into a bunch of places.
It was literally like pizza.
Went into a bunch of places and it was bars and they were open and we'd go in there and it's like, oh, the kitchen's shut down. And then the other thing is too, there's a question for you. If you're hungry, the restaurant's going to close in 15 minutes. Do you say to yourself they're open, so I'm going, or
no?
What do you say?
If the kitchen closes at 11, I get there at like 10:20. I'm ordering. Kitchen closes at 11. I get there at 10:45. I'm not ordering because I know that's coming out. Oh, cop burger, spit on the burger.
It's not going to be good.
No.
Because when we made it to Port Clinton, we kind of had that. We were trying to find a place to eat because it was late by the time we got back.
We didn't want to go to our normal spot, Rosie. So then we're like, I don't want to chance it. So we went to. What was it? We went to the Brick House.
Yes.
Yeah. We should have got I wish I would have got
crab rangoon pizza.
Yeah.
It's literally just crab rangoons on a pizza.
Yeah.
I thought it would just be like the filling under cheese or something. No,
Gotta have the wontons.
we're literally putting the wontons on the pizza. But you did get your ho-ho cake.
Oh, yeah. A la carte cafe in Port Clinton. You've got to go there.
I haven't been out that way in a really long time. If I'm going to Kansas City, I think barbecue. If I'm going to different places, you think, like, if I go to Baltimore, I'm thinking seafood, that sort of thing.
Crab.
You go to Cleveland, is it fish? It's because you're next to the lake, or is it like
it's like
what's
Pittsburgh?
It's kind of like Pittsburgh.
I mean, Polish,
Okay.
Like we saw pierogies on menus.
I mean, there's going to be fish on the menu because Erie is right there, but it's not a fishing town. So it's on the menu, but it's not like fish dominant.
Yeah,
Okay.
they it's not their personality
Right,
trait. It's definitely more of the brats and Polish food and goulash type stuff. I guess I don't know.
I mean, for them though, it's almost stupid not to have like a perch on the menu because it's so abundant there. You have to put that on the menu.
Let's see what Google says. I did something to help our show be even better. You don't know what it is?
Don't lie.
I have Chat GPT on my phone now.
Oh, nice.
So I can just ask it, what type of food is Cleveland known for? So let's see what it gives us. Polish boy. Not to be confused with a po' boy. It's an iconic Cleveland sandwich typically consisting of kielbasa served on a bun and topped with barbecue sauce, coleslaw, and french fries.
Yep.
Why do they put fries on their sandwiches?
I don't like it.
So it's Pittsburgh.
Okay.
What are we, Permanente Brothers?
Number 2 is pierogies. Yeah. Cleveland has a strong Eastern European influence, and pierogies are a beloved staple. Corned beef sandwiches, Cleveland-style pizza, whatever that is, and stadium mustard.
So that was big. That was in every freaking gift shop we went in.
Yeah.
And 6th, I think, is what? Cleveland Steamers.
Yes, correct. We recommend rinsing
outside
them out.
of the turkey that the dogs ate. What else did they eat in a Christmas story? That's Cleveland. They didn't eat anything else.
We should have went to the Christmas story
Chinese.
house. We could have done that. I forgot
Take
it was
a picture
there.
next to the leg.
I bet that's a tourist trap like hell.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a business to be doing that year round.
Hey, I watch it once every Christmas, but I can't do 24 hours.
I watch it probably like 6 hours. I ain't gonna lie. That's my jam. I don't want to talk about Christmas movies. I got a bunch of stuff on the list. But just until we get in the weeds, can we just start with the finals?
Okay, roll with it.
So,
what do you think? Who won?
We said 5. Right?
I said 5. I don't know what you all said.
I said 5. It's just we differed on when game 1 or how game 1 was going to go.
So let's say this right now because people are already crapping on this title for Denver and how crappy the teams were. Blah blah blah. Who's the one team in all these teams that they swept? The Lakers.
Like you said, they're all crappy teams, but they dominated.
Dude, they kicked ass. Why can't you just respect the fact that they beat everybody and they were better than them? Why do the other teams have to be so bad? Oh, Miami was a 7 seed or 8 seed, whatever they ended up being. They were in the conference finals last year. They've been in the conference finals 3 of the last 5 years. They are a good squad.
I'm telling you right now, if they ran it back next year, it would not surprise me one bit.
Well, they're the betting favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no surprise. I mean, they
and that's with me saying right now that I don't know who's going to form what super team.
But that's what it's going to take.
No, but I'm saying even with that being said, with the uncertainty, I'm still taking the Nuggets versus the Field.
Right now,
it's just who do they lose? Can they keep Christian Brown, KCP? Because their pieces fit together.
They can afford to lose KCP. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He plays well for them.
They'll get another dude from Kansas.
If you win a title, you're spending money. That's just how it goes.
The other thing I like the most about their post game is that I don't know what it was about Jamal Murray and going to the pool, but they're drinking a shit ton of champagne and Jokic picks him up, puts him on his shoulder, and says, "We go and swim," and they go and jump in the pool at the training facility. Well,
I seen that.
I thought that was cool, and they're jumping in with their clothes and their shoes still on,
because that's a stark contrast to how he reacted in the press conference. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was like basically he just wanted to go home and see his animals.
He just wants to go home. I saw. Ask him about the parade.
He was so deflated he had to stay for that.
Yes. Well, I guess I'm going home Friday. It's like, come on, man! Like the city loves you. Relax.
You know,
he would look very like he was just destroyed.
Like somebody's
2 more days here.
Oh my god!
I just want to go back to Serbia.
That after championship interview and his comments he's made since then, you know who he reminds me of the most? Tim Duncan. The most into basketball guy who could care less about everything else. Like, I'll kill you on the court, all this other stuff. Man, this sucks.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're right. I see the
like mentality-wise.
I mean, I agree, but I also feel like Tim Duncan probably loved the game, you know?
And that's my question. Like, does Jokic love the game?
To me, it may have been taken out of context.
It might be a cultural thing, too.
It just seemed like he treats it as his job. And that's not to say that he's not going to go out and destroy you because it's his job. People take pride in their job, believe it or not.
He's clearly doing
it. Even if he don't have a passion for it, I mean, he's still out here destroying you.
And that's what I thought.
I mean, but I don't know. Maybe it was just misconstrued.
But that's how I kind of felt when I saw it, too. I was like, man, does this dude just do it because he's good at it?
And he gets paid to do it.
Like, would he rather be playing soccer? And he's just not good at that?
I mean, listen to him and his brother. I think they want to be like hired guns.
The hitmen.
Yeah.
Well, they already are. His brothers are. That's why they're just waiting for the throat slash.
I believe it.
He ended both Morris brothers. I'll say this. What I think could happen with Jokic. I'll say this. All right, now it's out of my system. Andrew Luck retired early because he was injured and he was tired of rehabbing. I could see Jokic not playing out. He's got 5 years left on his contract.
Just leave because he's done.
Yeah.
And he's got enough money for life.
Yep.
Like, here's some other guys who just walked away.
Calvin Johnson was like 29 or 30.
Barry.
Barry. Yeah, guys that are in their prime and just like, I've done it all.
Yeah. MJ the first time.
Did you hear? Did you hear the stuff about Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers today? So just tying this together, right? So Embiid won MVP, and we've talked about how Jokic probably should have, and we get it, the recency bias and all that. So I can't remember what podcast he went on, but Doc Rivers, and I'm gonna take him out of context here, but the way he said it, he was, Joel's a great player, but he breaks down when we get to the playoffs. He's not always healthy. And then he also started saying he's got all the tools. He can be great, but sometimes you got to be a leader on and off the court. And so to me, what I heard is Doc Rivers just said that his star is the reason why he couldn't get over in Philly. And,
what about every other
right.
time he couldn't close?
So here's the thing. In Philly, you could say that. You got two knuckleheads, him and Harden. How about when you had Chris Paul, he's addicted to the finals after he made it to one?
I know, but I just found it amusing that boy just left and he's
now
like,
we'll throw shade.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him when it comes to getting another job.
Here's the thing: he didn't say anything that was wrong, but he's out of the picture now, right. But there's no ownership on himself.
Right.
I mean, but everything he said about Embiid's not wrong.
So maybe you're not good enough of a coach to get him to be those.
I think it's a combination,
right?
So I have a question for you guys, because on that same note, we all want our guys to live and die and all that sort of stuff. James Harden is likely going back to Houston. Mr. Brown's been on this before the season ended. He's fine with making millions, plan on it. Man, maybe make playoffs, maybe we don't. I'll light up the strip clubs. He don't care about the rest.
He don't care about winning. He just
Are
wants
you
the
okay
money
with the guy who just straight up says, I'm going to score the ball, I'm going to make millions, I don't care about winning?
That was the other thing that Doc had said about Joel was he cared about the MVP. Then once he got that,
kind of shut her down or turned it down a notch.
Yeah.
For me though, I don't really give a shit what Harden does personally as a fan.
He's irrelevant.
He is irrelevant to me because at the end of the day, I know the team he's playing for is probably not going to win, even if they're looking good on paper. And now that he's going back to Houston and the Rockets want to pay millions of dollars and it's a match for both of them, who freaking cares? It's just
let them have each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's your legacy. Congratulations.
So I'm surprised how much NBA we ended up talking over the last 2 months. Like the playoffs really did pique our interest.
Enjoyed them. I thought they were good.
It's a completely different style of basketball because, amazingly, even with all these rest games and the schedule changes, less back-to-backs, they've saved themselves enough energy to play defense.
In the playoffs. So the biggest thing that came out of the playoffs in the last 2 weeks was not a Nuggets title. It's the fact that Austin Reeves is on our girl, Miss T Swizzle.
He is.
Hey, hold on real quick,
know he ain't staying in L.A. now. He's going to go take the big money. And
you got to do it for as long as you can. Yeah.
So, who's the dude that played for the Nuggets that came from Kansas? Braun? Is that his name?
Christian Braun?
Yeah. So he's won a title 4 years in a row. He had 1 year at Kansas, or 2, whatever.
Really?
He won it in college, he won the NBA, and he won like 2 in high school.
That's a hell of a run.
4 straight championships.
That's a Trevor Lawrence run, except for he did it in the NBA.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So that's all he does.
He's the next generation Robert Ory. Yeah. Or something like that. The other NBA-related thing, because it's a story that just keeps giving more, Conor McGregor and the mascot, and then now he's got rape allegations. Did you see that?
From the mascot?
Well, sometimes they pretend. That was pretty damn good.
I mean, because I saw the video. I'm not questioning it.
Whenever you see that many people gather around with towels, something bad's about to happen.
I'm telling you, after that was all show for the mascot, he really wasn't hurt. He jumped right up after the cameras went off and he whispered in Connor's ear, "Can we do that again later?"
Yeah, well.
And then someone did an Aaron Andrews incident and saw through the peephole.
Oh, I know.
There's the allegation.
Now he's got a rape charge.
Told you.
Or, allegation.
This time he took it too far at the mascot.
But that's and then we were talking. You were doing the autograph giveaway on baseball. Trevor Bauer back in the news again with the same thing.
I haven't read it yet.
Like whenever I don't know what the details are or anything like that, but it's just another allegation that he was. No, I did read some details. Was choking her with her hair and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's just like if it happens
makes
once.
Me think of. Have you seen the Bill Burr stand up where he talks about this?
Yes.
And if you read it in a court report, and no, I don't want to do that.
Here's the problem.
Just wants you to feel that
Here's
way.
the problem. A bitch will send you 5 memes. It'll be like, "Choke me, daddy, with my hair, with your hands." And then I'll be like, "All right, I can do that." And then it'll be like, "You better, and you better bring it." Then you get there and it's like,
"Ow.
I didn't want that." Not both hands.
I mean, that's the reality.
That's how it happens.
Hey, and we're not saying, like, look, he could be completely guilty. So could Bauer and McGregor. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that.
All I'm saying is what pound test is she using? Because they're reeling him in slowly.
It's sad for me to say this as a father of a daughter, because you always want to believe your daughter, your women in your life. When star athletes have these accusations, I always wait until it goes to court and it's proven guilty or innocent, because you had a one-night stand and all of a sudden now I'm rich.
And not only, but taking devil's advocate though, here's the thing, and going the other direction. These guys think they're invincible and that they can get away with anything. So who's to say he isn't going crossing the line? Because I'm Trevor Bauer, like Ozuna. I'm Ozuna for the Braves. I'm going to continue driving drunk down the road. Yes. I mean, like, that's their mentality is like, I'm bigger than God here.
You're a superstar. You've been told that you are bigger than
Same
God
rules
since
don't
you were
apply to
15.
me, Biggie.
Yep.
I mean, it could go both ways. So like you said, let's see what comes of it.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason you made me think of Jeff Hardy. He's got like 9 DUIs. You guys go kill somebody.
How are you not going to get an Uber?
I don't know.
I'm going to call him Jake Hardy.
Jake Hardy. All right, I don't want to talk about anything else with NBA, but MMA, my girl retired, Amanda Nunes, goes out on top.
Dude, she's in a Modelo commercial too.
She is. We're going to talk about Modelo.
Yeah.
That's my bridge right there. But Amanda Nunes, I'm
in this corner. Can somebody grab me a refill or Joe Boo?
Yeah, I can do that because I got to pee. But while we're doing that, Chadwick, who is your greatest female fighter of all time? Is it?
It is Amanda Nunes.
Okay.
And like, I mean, honestly, as she's retiring, I'm not a big diehard UFC fan, but it's like her and John Jones are the best 2 people to watch.
So I remember when it was still the very end of Ronda Rousey's run, and then they matched up.
She ended that run.
She ended the run, and she was like, "It's over. Go to WWE because it's my turn now."
Dude, she was just trying to fall, and she couldn't even fall. She just kept bouncing off the fence.
She had Ronda Rousey on some talk show. Maybe it was Ellen DeGeneres talking about she didn't feel worthy of living after she kicked her ass.
She did kick her ass pretty bad, but that's what she did. And she got so good that she would beat somebody's ass, and then they would thank her after the fight just for the opportunity. Like, she was so dominant that she had to start doing it in multiple weight classes. But the thing was, every time I watched her fight, damn, it was entertaining. Like, she was so aggressive and threw punches, but she could tap you out. She had a good ground game. And she threw, everything seemed like it came from above. Like, she threw overhand.
Superman punch.
Right, only she never left her feet. And I was like, how is she doing that? It's like she would go low and, But
Doctor Strange.
I'm going to miss it. That was like the only woman fighter I really watched because she was so damn good.
I haven't really got into any female fighters. I've seen a few of her fights, and then obviously with the hype around Rousey, I'd watch a few. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. Did Nunez lose any in her career?
She lost her fight before this. She was supposed to do a rematch.
Okay.
But
just the one loss?
No, she lost some earlier.
Okay.
But she's been on such a run.
Right.
Like, once she figured it out and the light bulb went off. And so the one that she lost most recently, it almost felt like a blip or a glitch. Like, just made a mistake and then got caught and she ended up tapping. Because she was dominating a lot of that fight. But, it's UFC, man. Like, you get these small windows to be good. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you might win 5-6 fights in a row and that's all you get. That's your peak.
Isn't it insane? And I guess because it was like beginning back when it started, the Chuck Liddells and all that other group were like for so long. But I guess it's because the divisions weren't as they didn't have as many as good fighters, so they was able to stay on top longer. Well, there wasn't as much depth.
Where MMA has been built up so much more, there's so much more money in it now that more people are in it. So, yeah.
Just funny because back then you could go a decade, and then now you're right. It's like NFL running back.
It would be like Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, and then Rampage is in there. And like those three would just dance forever.
But it is. I mean, I think that and NFL running backs is pretty much the same window.
Yeah.
And on that note, the fact that John Bones Jones has been the baddest motherfucker in the ring, when he's in the ring for a decade, says something.
That's why he's considered the greatest fighter of all time.
Yep.
Like, and he's still fighting.
And that's what gets me, because even Conor McGregor, he had like a 3-year window where he was dominant, and the rest of it's living off a reputation. We talk about him now because he gets out there. He's a mouthpiece. It's not because of his fighting. When's the last time he was relevant?
Well, he took a page out of professional wrestling for sure. He broadcast that.
Did the Mayweather thing? And,
yeah. But the thing I got Conor over was, man, when he was fighting Jose Aldo and he knocked him out in like 6 seconds. And they had talked so much crap, and he goes, "I'm going to end it quick," and he does just that. That doesn't happen very often.
Master marketer.
Yes, and that's what it comes down to. Oh, speaking of, I didn't put this in the notes of things to talk about, but I watched the Jordan movie about the shoes.
Oh,
I have not watched it yet, so don't give me too much.
I mean, it's a historical story, so you might know some of it already, but. Pleasantly surprised. I was really good. It's really Matt Damon as the guy that's trying to get Jordan the contract with Nike, and they go through the process, and he's dealing with the agent, and they're talking about how like Adidas and Converse is on top of the world, and Nike's this little company. It's just, it's solid, and how he has to deal with like the parents.
Yeah,
and it's really just mom, but. I don't know, man. It just made you feel that era in time, like early 80s. These dudes are over in Oregon, and they got a shoe company that's been grown doing running shoes, and they're getting ready to end their basketball shoe line completely.
Before this happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're going to shut it down, and so their budget they get is $250,000, and they're going through the draft, and they're trying to pick out players they want to spend it on, and they're like, we can't get Sam Bowie, he's going to go to this person. You can't get Jordan. He's already said he's getting Adidas. Like, they're going through everybody. So, like, they're naming names I don't even know. Like, whoever the 16th round pick or person picked in the draft in the 80s.
So then I guess it shows how they switched Jordan to Nike, and that's part of the story.
Right. Well, they were going to try to get, like, 3 or 4 players, and Matt Damon's character is like, no, take the whole budget, and let's just get him.
Nice.
And they're like, that's stupid. That's... For a rookie, we're not doing that.
I mean, but it's all in.
Right. And then they start negotiating like the contract.
You got to know at that point that decision's your job. Clearly.
Yeah. Oh, and he said that. Ben Affleck plays Phil Knight.
Oh, I seen him, and I just didn't know who he played.
Yeah, he's
my favorite part of the previews for that is when Matt Damon goes and they're talking, and what are you going to call the shoe? The Air Jordan. And Affleck, I guess maybe it'll grow on me. That was pretty much his response, was it not? I've seen the trailer.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker in there. We gotta get more players.
Yeah, Chris Tucker is one of the guys, but they're all real people, and like it's their story, and some of them are still alive, and like it's amazing.
I saw the behind the scenes on it, and they were talking about the Jordan part of it, and he's not actually in the film, and he's never shown. It's like behind, and they're like, dude, if you were actually in the film, it overshadows everything else.
Yeah.
And this is young you, and you're old. So Jordan's one request when they talked to him about the film was who played his mother.
And that's who the star was, really. Yeah. Like that's who was the decision maker. Like I feel like all that was probably really accurate too.
No, even before this movie, like in the Jordan 30 for 30, when they're talking about, and they got his mom and dad, and she's one in that 30 for 30 who says, no, you're going to go out and meet with them. Because he wanted to be an Adidas guy. He didn't care.
So you want to know why they went to meet with him? Is because the guy from Nike, Matt Damon's character, went to their house.
Sonny Vaccaro. Yeah. Now, Sonny Vaccaro probably has more of an impact on the history of basketball than the average fan will ever realize.
I didn't realize that. And
he was the guy getting the coaches deals in the 80s. Rolly Massimino.
Well, and then, all right, so spoiler, I don't care. You already probably know this.
I know most of the details. I just haven't watched the movie.
It's the first shoe contract that they gave the player a commission.
Yep.
Like, they got it off of what they sold.
Do you know these numbers off the top of your head?
So I know they wanted to do, like, $2 million. If we can do $2 million, we'll make our money, we'll break even. And I think they did $127 million.
Look it up.
Like it was stupid. And what they did was they broke rules on the shoe. It wasn't supposed to be anything. It had to be so much white on it. And they said, nah, we'll make it red and we'll pay the fine. So they gave him an illegal shoe. Like, so they walked out of there feeling like this is the most custom, they really took care of me as an individual here. And then no player in history ever got a cut of the profits. And they're like on the phone, it's like, that's not how this works. We can't do this. It would ruin everything for everybody. That's just not how this works. And then they're like, screw it, we'll do it. And they gave them like a 3% or whatever off of it. Like, how much are we really going to sell?
Right.
So they do 100 times more. You got the numbers? Fact check.
I'm scrolling, but what they did was they gave Jordan a deal where they wanted to sell $2.5 million worth of his shoes in the first 3 years. And the first year alone as a rookie, they sold over $4 million.
4 million pairs?
$4 million worth.
I feel like it was more than that. Now I'm going to look it up.
You don't believe you, Biggie?
Yeah. Look.
His first contract was a $2.5 million deal with Nike in 1980.
But it says the shoe sold $126 million in the first year alone.
Yes.
That's what I was saying earlier. Okay. Just making sure. Got to get the numbers right. Speaking of...
and they were wanting $3 million in 3 years total.
So it literally changed the game. Absolutely.
You ever seen the Letterman where he's on there? Because the original shoe in the NBA always had the deal. It had to be at least 51% white. And it's in the movie, too.
Oh, I have seen that.
What if we just pay the fine and it'll give us that?
He is on Letterman talking about it. You can't buy that publicity. They didn't even talk about that in the movie, but I forgot all about that.
That's a real good one because Letterman gives him they're talking about the shoe and being fine, and Jordan's like, well, because the NBA has a rule, it's got to be at least 51% white. And Letterman goes, why would it be at least half white? None of the rest of the NBA is.
That's a good joke. That was a good joke.
At the time,
it still is.
Jay laughed.
But imagine how far they were that specific about the shoe. Like, it's got to have that much white. Like, it'll be clean. So we're talking about the Jordan shoe, the marketing and the advertising and everything. We started to get into this conversation a little bit today, but there is news in the beer industry that there is a new top dog in the United States as far as percent of sales. And Biggie is partaking in it. Are you celebrating the victory because you're a Modelo fan?
Well, victory is when you're a champion. They come. Modelo is a damn good beer. It's always been a damn good beer. I don't have anything against Bud Light, but Modelo is a much better beer.
So the Bud Light fallout continues, and
Bud Light has always been trash before they endorsed transgenders.
They were on life support.
My favorite thing I've seen
it's
lately
just bad quality.
is how Bud Light's an American beer, and Americans are boycotting. So now a beer from another country is the favorite beer. Actually, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch have not been American for like 10 years.
Did you know that?
I didn't.
They're owned by a Dutch company.
Belgium.
No, well, isn't that the Dutch? Are Belgium? Don't confuse me.
Don't do a Seinfeld on me. What are the Dutch?
They're from Holland.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
I like gold. Hey, but back to the Bud Light. Like, it don't surprise me that Bud Light's not number one, but I was shocked that it was a Modelo that took the spot because I just assumed it would be like a Miller Lite, even a Coors Light before Modelo.
I didn't realize Modelo was number 2.
I didn't either. Like, to me, like, Yingling is a good lager.
But they're so regional.
You know, it is. But
Yingling is, like, in North Dakota, you can't touch a Yingling.
I would have thought even Busch Light would have been ahead of Modelo, to be honest.
Those are lattes, Busch lattes.
See, they got their own lingo.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would have never imagined Modelo would have even been in the top 5.
I would guess. So, have you ever seen Modelo's advertising?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
They've got the best. They are the
play
best
the ecstasy
beer
of gold on
advertising.
there. And
they've had Damon Lillard on there.
Yeah. Dame Lillard, we talked about Nunez, she's on there. And then they'll have like some guy that just has tattoos really good or something. Like it's a cultural thing. But so it's a Mexican beer. Their commercials feel like they're really for anybody, but they do have a little Hispanic tone to them, it feels like. I bet this beer in like Texas and California is just insane.
No, I agree.
Like it's probably
even Florida.
Yeah, very regional through there. Like because Corona, I don't know if they ever recovered from people. Remember how dumb people were? They thought you would. I can't drink Corona.
Exactly.
I might catch Corona.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like how?
There's real life people thought that.
Then let's just end them.
Darwinism. The limited time I spent in Arizona, Modelo was everywhere. Like you go and you order a Bud Light and everybody has it. Modelo was on tap. Like
that's crazy.
I mean, you didn't mention Arizona, but that's a huge one. Yeah. I mean, right there.
All those border states. We're just in our bubble here in West Virginia. Hasn't made it that far.
God, we're so stereotyping right now. Only those states like this beer.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. Like Yingling's a Pennsylvania beer, so like people out west don't know what that is.
I mean, a dude up in Michigan on the dock, when he's catching his walleye, is he drinking Modelo?
He might be drinking Labatt's Blue or Molson. You never know.
If you're in Pittsburgh, you could drink a Modelo and you put fries on your sandwich.
Steel City.
If you're in
Pittsburgh,
Chandler,
you're
Arizona,
drinking Steel City.
You drink a Modelo and you eat a burrito. What do you do if you're in Florida? Gator bites and
Cuban booty.
Yes.
A beer. Sorry. All right.
Dude, the Reds are having a craft beer festival Saturday.
You got to go to Taft Brewing, the fattest president ever.
It is.
It's good.
Had to have a custom bathtub.
Yeah. That's a good brewery there at the stadium.
It is. But I guess they're shutting down the main drag there and doing like a beer fest.
Right.
Should go to Mexico for a week. That'd be fun.
I'll go. Let's go next week.
I'm not going anywhere in Mexico with you, Chad.
Why?
Because I don't want to lose 100 pounds.
You know what type of beer was most common when I was there?
What?
It was Tecate.
Yeah.
You ever drink that?
I have once.
You probably don't remember it.
No. After several margaritas.
But here's the thing: when you leave the resort, I'm not because I know where I'll end up.
Dude, that's the funnest.
I ain't doing it either. I'm staying on the resort.
You know what it's like to be in the middle of a large Mexican city and see cops with automatic
weapons? Do you know
weapons?
how many scary movies start that way?
All of them. But
exactly.
You know how many pornos start that way?
Yeah, but let's be real.
Your
ratio is clearly overwhelming. Come on.
Oh well.
Starting a porno, they jump in with a chainsaw, cut your dick off.
You could have both. You're right. It could be both. Right?
Why do we got to go there? Isn't that, it's like one of those Club Dread movies. You remember those?
It's like Chad's like, yes, it's. I picked right. It's porno. No, wait, it's horror.
That would be Thailand. It was horror. That's all I'm going to say.
Bangkok.
What happened to Chad? Bangkok got him.
Bag tagged, and he was done.
I can't go there ever. I mean,
seriously though, Mexico would be a lot of fun. I've never been. The people I've talked to, other than you, who just enjoyed the resort for a week, have loved it.
Buy the tickets. We'll leave Monday.
Let's go to Jamaica, man.
Well, I'll go there too.
All right, fine then. All this money.
Hey, while you're at it and throwing out money, let's go to Fiji.
Yes.
Yes. It's only $21,000 a person.
How about the Azores?
There's the three of us here, but when we do like a guy's trip for football, we always have Drew. Do I buy 4 tickets? Did we just tell Drew, by the way, you're going to Mexico?
$88K for Fiji for all 4 of us, including Drew.
All right, let's go.
People are going to think this podcast got real popular.
Yeah. It did. What are you talking about? Our ratings were up 50%.
They are. Sometimes they are. It is.
Last week.
Let's see. I got some other notes and stuff. All right. We really shit on the A's big time last week. Were we premature?
No.
They turned it around. No. They're no longer the worst team in baseball.
7 straight. Orioles are the worst team in the league now.
Did you say Orioles?
That's what I thought he said.
No, say it clearly for the crowd.
Royals.
That was clear?
Yeah.
Royals.
It's the Royals.
All right, so listen. The A's are they're going to be on the bottom 2. Were we premature? No, they're still trash. It's just the Orioles.
One reverse boycott does not erase the rest.
But when the Braves lost 2 out of 3 to the A's, I was like, holy hell. I feel a little better.
You were losing your mind. I remember that.
I feel a little better. Because they were on pace for like 35 wins.
The Mariners are a 500 team this year. Their longest win streak's 4 games. The A's are currently on a 6 games.
See, I'm going to tell you this story, and which I took Biggie out the road to get some liquor the other day. We're talking about how the schedule's so much better now because it's not focused on the division. So then you have both Centrals are dog shit, and then the East and the West are the strong divisions. And I was like, well, there's about 3 good teams in both Western divisions. You agree? And we're like, yeah, we start naming NL. And then he starts naming the AL West. It was hilarious. Because he's like, yeah, you got the Rangers and the Astros are there, and then, the Angels are doing better. I'm like, Biggie, are the Angels better than the Mariners? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I stand by it. There's only 3.
Well, luckily we got the A's. We will not finish last.
I seen it in Atlanta, damn it. You're 4th.
But we went to Sunday just because Schuster was pitching. He throws a game of his life. I thought we were taking this serious. Whole drive home, I was be like, how about that?
What happened?
Imagine being not 1st, but 4th in your own division.
What's wrong?
Only team saving you is the A's.
What's wrong with the Mariners?
It's disappointing.
What's wrong with it?
No consistent. We have good players, but they don't play good at the same time.
Robbie Ray, that hurts, right?
Yeah, big time hurt. And then offensively, here's the thing that kills us. We've got some guys who put up some pretty decent numbers. 4 of the top 5 guys in the American League in strikeouts are Mariners. You got Kalinick, J-Rod, Suarez, Teoscar. The only guy in there that's not a Mariner is Volpe for the Yankees.
And he got sent down.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
We'll put runners on base. We just don't drive them in.
We talked about this on the way back from Atlanta, that baseball is a funny game. Last year, Julio comes on the scene. He's the best thing since sliced bread, killing it. Yep. And then Kalinick gets sent down because he's trash. Now Kalinick's destroying bombs on top of the world. And the AL Rookie of the Year, who they just locked up for how many million? 300 plus?
Years, like 300 million.
Sophomore slumpish. So it's like the game humbles you so fast. Yeah. Same thing with Michael Harris. He's just finally starting to hit.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a year can do.
I remember Hayward.
And that's what makes it.
That's what it feels like sometimes. You never know if it's going to be
But
bad.
it's amazing that the game adjusts so fast that within a year, are you a fluke or are you a Hall of Famer?
How much of that is just good scouting? Like figuring people out.
Like with Julio, it is because they like to bust him down and in, and he has not gotten past how to hit that or lay off of it yet. He gets into double plays because mentally he's too young to say.
He's still trying to pull it?
Yeah, how
instead of going to right field?
Yeah. So when I look at it, because he's talented, he will figure it out. I want to go back to the one. I want to look at a guy like Tony Gwynn or think of some other 300, 330 hitters that hit that way their entire career. Look at George Brett.
Yeah, but
look at a Chipper Jones.
Brett and Chipper is the exceptions because they have the average and the power, and that's what they want from Julio.
And I get it. That's why those guys are the best of the best and they're Hall of Famers. But it just amazes me like how quickly a guy can go from being a 300 hitter or a 30 home run guy.
The guys that were consistent for 20 years.
Yes.
It makes you like, wow.
Because your body changes, your mind changes as you grow. You know the scouting reports are out there. You know how they're trying to pitch you. You see how they're trying to pitch you, and you adjust. And to me, that's what makes baseball the greatest game. Because Julio has an amazing amount of talent. Right now, he ain't getting the middle part of it. And that's why Kalenic this year has finally showed his potential. He finally got over that middle hump. He changed his batting stance, changed his approach, changed his bat, chokes up some now. Likes to go the other way. Now, he strikes out a lot, but...
I mean, it's a shame Yogi's still not alive. He could have gave Julio a few Yogi-isms, and he'd have got his head right.
I can read a book of Yogi-isms.
Yeah.
If you get to Fork in the Road.
Take it.
Exactly. Would you have a favorite one?
Well, that was it.
No, my favorite one is...
Wow.
Something about Little League is a great thing because it keeps the parents off the streets.
Yep.
That's good. That's real, though.
It is. I always like it gets late early out there.
Children like is
nobody goes down there anymore. It's too crowded.
What is the one about the 90% of the game is mental
and the other half is physical?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Yogi-ism math.
Yeah, there you go.
Last thing about baseball I want to say is my Reds are a game and a half out of first place.
Chad, we had this discussion off air about their potential and whatnot last week. Are you not looking at how bad that division is and you can be in the playoffs this year?
I think the reason why Votto is not playing is because they know they have better players right now.
Coming up.
This aren't even playing. Like, just ride these guys until you can't. But
De La Cruz, McLean, Lodelo. I ran into a guy the other day who I actually ended up graduating with. Oh, my God, I'm drawing a complete blank. His daughter and my daughter are friends. We got a cat from him. He's a Reds fan. The reason I bring this up, the first time I met him.
Poor pussy.
Wow.
Poor pussy.
Every one of Isaac's ex-girlfriends becomes one of Haley's best friends. It's really weird.
That's awesome. What a dynamic.
Anyway, we went out there to get a cat, and he comes over, and first time I'd met him, we start talking. We talk baseball, and he's a Reds fan. And me and him talk Reds baseball for about a good 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. And he's a psyched up Reds fan. Right. Lodelo, De La Cruz, McLean.
Like you feel like they've collected this talent and have a plan. It's just exciting. McLean's been really good. De La Cruz brings energy. You know what? He has that flair like an Acuna or a Tatis.
He's the type that can set the tone early.
Yeah, but how tall is too tall for a shortstop?
I don't think there is. I mean, Cal is 6'5", right?
That's what De La Cruz is.
I think he's fine. He's more athletic than Cal.
Yeah.
I want to give you this tidbit in Reds history because it just happened to pop up on my phone randomly.
Because I got some history for you.
On this day in 1977, the Met dealt Tom Seaver to the Reds. He would go on to win 122 more games and strike out 1,200 more batters before retiring in 1986.
Isn't this perfect game with the Reds?
It is.
So, terrific Tom on this day from the Mets to the Reds.
Tom Terrific.
Yeah. What did I say?
Terrific Tom.
Terrific Tom.
Because Tom Brady tried to do Tom Terrific.
Yeah. 122 games with the Reds seems like a lot for me.
Because I only think of him as a Met.
Right.
But back
and he was on the White Sox,
but back
too,
then,
for a
people
minute.
played forever.
It's true.
The thing we were talking about earlier, you always try to come up with these trivia questions and things when you do the autograph giveaway. We were talking about the documentary on Netflix. What was it called? Fastball?
Oh, that was the one, and we're not talking about the Nolan Ryan one. The fastball one, yeah.
Right.
Just talking about fastballs and the history of the game. Starting with Walter Johnson.
So we got into the conversation about, like, Babe Ruth, like, how would he do against faster pitchers? And the question was, well, I wonder how he did against Walter Johnson.
Yeah, because in that documentary, it was determined that he's threw between 90 to 94, which doesn't sound like a lot today, but I would say no one else probably even threw 90 at that time.
So I'm going to tell you what their comparison stats are, or what it is when they go against each other.
All right, let's hear it.
And then I'll let you know what the regular is, and then you tell me who you feel like got the better of the other.
All right, good.
So when we start off on Babe against Walter Johnson, it's 107 at-bats. He hit 280, 8 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs. Walked 19 times, on-base percentage of .389, struck out 25 times. I mean, that's not bad. His normal lifetime statistics.
340.
342.
Damn, I'm good.
His home home run ratio was 1 at every 11.7 at bats. Against Walter Johnson, it was 1 every 15. He struck out 1 out of every 6 at bats. Against Big Train, he struck out every 4 at bats. So the flip side, Walter Johnson held his opponents to 222 batting average. So
60 points lower.
He surrendered a total of 97 home runs for just ever. He only gave up 97 home runs.
For his career.
Yeah. And we said Babe had what?
7.
Yeah. So he's got a 10th of his home runs almost.
How many games did Walter Johnson win?
I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know if I have that. He was over 300, right?
It had to be. His I was 5'11".
So he oh wow. So he only gave up a home run once every 227 at bats. And
we talk about what superpower would you have, and I said I'd like to teleport. I would go back to the early 1900s.
With a radar gun?
Well, no. I would be the next. It wouldn't be Cy Young. It'd be Josh Wright. I'd have 612 wins.
By the way, Walter Johnson had 417 wins.
I said more than 300.
And his WAR was 165.
God bless.
What was Babe's career ERA 217?
What's
Babe's WAR? It's got to be north of 180.
182.
I mean, that's close. Imagine that. These icons played against each other. And so real quick, I got one other tidbit. But before, just who do you think got the better of the other? They both kind of dropped when they had to face each other. But would you say Babe got the better of the matchup or Walter got the better?
If I hit 280 off of you, I got the better of you.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say he didn't, but like his average dropped 80 points versus Walter versus the league, and then Walter's hit against rose 60 points versus the Babe. But I don't know. I mean, to me, it shows he can handle the best of the best. And like today, you would obviously adapt. Like if you're saying that you've been hitting 280 off Verlander for the last 12 years, you'll take that.
Yeah, that's feather in your cap.
So, I mean, to me, I think Babe shows that he can handle his own.
I think it's the home run that puts it over the top.
He's the 10th.
Yeah, like the fact that he's got so many of your home
runs. At that time, he was hitting more than teams by himself.
I know. But still, and then the ratio, the fact that Walter Johnson would go 230 times between batters before he'd give up a home run, but against Babe Ruth, it was 16.
Yep.
So that's why I would give the slight edge to him. But they did late in their career, or after they were retired, late in their lives, they did a charity thing where Walter Johnson was throwing pitches to him, and there was like 68,000 people showed up and watched that exhibition.
Really?
Watch him take some BP.
Yeah, Babe was older, and he hit one out. Like, he hit 2 out, I think.
Let me give you – I want to just give you this perspective. For Walter Johnson's 1913 season at age 25, he was 36-7. Winning percentage was 83%. His ERA was 1.14. 29 complete games, 11 shutouts, and he pitched 346 innings.
Holy God. That's 3 seasons for guys now.
And
if not more,
he gave up the league lead, 9 home runs that year. Because he's supplying the power.
I mean, he's the only one there, and he's throwing it hard enough to send it the other way.
He threw 350 innings.
Yeah.
36-7. That's like half of DeGrom's career.
His one season, was about half of DeGrom's career.
He's done, isn't he?
I think so.
That sucks.
It does. It sucks for
good.
baseball.
Yeah, he was so good.
Because he was dealing before he got hurt again. Every time he gets on the field, even if it's limited, like 10 starts a year, he's dominating.
It's electric.
What sucks is that I felt like DeGrom could be this era's Pedro.
I mean, yeah.
That 3-year, 4-year streak where he just...
Oh, yeah. Because he would have taken... That 3-4-year streak of Pedro ranks up there with any pitcher in the history of the game. You start talking about those 3-4 years of Pedro, you're putting him with a Bob Gibson.
Yeah, Pedro's peak is...
I mean, you are.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, if you remember, Pedro, when they won the World Series and they were later in his career and stuff like that, and everybody's like, oh, he's surefire Hall of Famer. And that's what you're seeing. That's what you remember. But, if you do really remember that peak, he was sick. And that's what DeGrom was. We had games, I don't know if it was last year before, had 15 strikeouts and give up 2 hits.
For a pitcher, I think like 3 of the most dominant pitchers with those types of streaks is Pedro. We got Bob Gibson, and then the Randy Johnson 3 years, even later in his career, was like some 3 or 4 years together where it was like, wow.
Mind-numbingly good for the big unit. Here's what I've said, and I will die on this hill because they changed the mountain height, Bob Gibson, all that. I know he was lights out. Pedro's stretch from like 99 to 01 when it was the unchecked steroid era, to me, that's the greatest 3 to 4 year stretch of pitching in the history of baseball.
Yeah, and everybody, you can make that argument.
Well, yeah, because of who he's hitting against.
Exactly.
All the juicers,
Yeah. Well, look at how much better he is, his ERA, than the next best pitcher in all of baseball. He's a run batter. Like, he was so dominant in an era where every hitter was amplified.
So let's bring it back to the big unit real quick. So based on that Ryan Express documentary, they're interviewing the big unit on there. He's like, I'm almost a foot taller than Nolan. He says, but there's not a guy that wants to be in the batter's box and can say, man, I'm second in career strikeouts. And guess what? I'm 1,000 behind that man. Mm-hmm. And as badass as Randy Johnson was, and I know Nolan played for freaking 40 years, whatever, but Randy Johnson was getting his strikeouts, man. Like, it's crazy.
My favorite Randy Johnson memory ever is also one of my favorite West Virginia memories because it's the All-Star game with John Crook in the box.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, where are we going with this?
He turned his helmet around backwards. And
he's like diving out of the box because one pitch came in
high and tight. Yeah. I mean, you got to stay safe,
I am a huge Nolan fan. I always have been, and I get it.
Paul Bunyan.
You look at the numbers, and he couldn't be consistently, but like, to me, if I could pick any pitcher in the history of baseball to be on their A game, why am I not taking
if he's not wild that day? But here's the part.
No, he's on his. I know, it's but the best he can pitch.
Him being wild was part of what made him successful.
Yeah.
But so think about this. So his biggest person growing up, his idol was Sandy Koufax. Okay. People want to talk shit about Nolan, but he woke up, he went in the big leagues, did his thing. He broke Sandy Koufax's all-time season strikeouts of 383. And then he also broke Sandy Koufax's record of career no-hitters. Sandy had a record of 4, and Nolan took it to 7. So if nothing else, that's your like idol, and you broke his 2 biggest records.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nolan Ryan,
I'll take that career.
Hell yeah.
So Nolan Ryan threw how many no-hitters?
7.
Okay, do you know how many one-hitters he threw?
18 or something. That was a lot. 19.
If you take his 1 and 2 hitters, it was 19. He threw 5 one-hitters. So if you take that 1 hit out, that's 12 no-hitters. 2 hitters, he's at 19. Now, just think.
And 2 or 3 of them were after age 40.
Yes.
But I don't know
I'm just saying, look at it like this. You think 7's amazing. Of those other 12, give him a third. Let's say he's got 11 no-hitters. You're telling me that at his prime, in his peak, and the best he could ever throw.
Is that a stat we can look up, like who has the most one-hit games?
I'm sure it is. Baseball, you can look at any stat. I get it. You can prefer other pitchers. I've always loved Nolan. You know, one of the other things I like is when he was the Rangers general manager and they were in the World Series and he came out and threw the first pitch and he threw it like he's old and he throws like 76 miles an hour.
And he throws a strike. All right, so most one-hitters of all time, Nolan Ryan. He's got 13, it says.
Okay.
Number 2, Bob Feller. He's got 11. But then it drops. There's like a million people with 6, like a Don Sutton, a Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, Jim Palmer. So it's still a pretty big gap. You got kind of 1A, 1B with Ryan and Feller than everybody else.
Right.
So does that... I mean, here's the thing. Like, that's an impressive stat, but it's so far down the list of accomplishments that, like, we didn't know that until we just looked it up. Well, you kind of knew it, I guess.
Well, it's just the thing about it that gets me is how many times do you get through 5 or 6 and the guy hasn't allowed a hit and all of a sudden he's sitting by himself in the dugout. Nobody can say it to him. Nolan Ryan did that 20-something times in his career where guys were like, oh, don't say anything. And he's just sitting over there like, bitch some sage and go strike these guys out. Like,
I like that impression.
I don't know.
Is that your best Texan impression?
Like, Nolan Ryan, to me, is the guy. We've all seen this meme.
Little doggy.
We've all seen this meme when somebody does something great and they show them and they're carrying their balls in a wheelbarrow.
Yes, Randy Marsh.
Nolan Ryan did that every day. He's just like, hey, boys.
Here's the crazy part.
You might hit me tonight, but I'm throwing 108.
So he's a Texan at heart. He got drafted by the Mets. He lasted like 3 or 4 years in New York. He hated New York because he's not for the city. And then they're like, we're trading you. Where do we send you? All the way out to California, where it's completely the opposite, but still a big city. The only thing great about it for Nolan was that he got to meet his singing cowboy from the old Westerns.
Really?
And the dude was, I don't remember his name, the singing cowboy. And then Nolan was so happy to go to California to meet him, but after that wore off, he's like, screw this, I want to go back to Texas. He went to the Astros, and then he went to the Rangers. But
Gene Autry?
Yes. So, Nolan had a ranch manager, because he always kept the ranch for 30-plus years, but anytime it was the off-season, like the ranch manager was basically like told to get out of the damn way because I'm on to ranch my cattle.
Yeah.
And like Nolan wasn't scared to jump in there and do what the ranch manager does because he wants to feel like he's invested in his livestock.
So you know who Nolan is?
Like who would do that?
We've all watched Yellowstone, right?
Besides Kevin Costner.
I haven't watched Yellowstone.
He's Kevin Costner.
You watch Yellowstone?
No, Kevin Costner is Nolan because he's played for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner, between Yellowstone and the love of the game, he's the real life Nolan Ryan.
He plays the real life Nolan Ryan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sorry. Thank
that
you.
makes sense?
Yeah.
I feel like we just opened up a portal. I don't know what just happened.
Does anyone else, do you see where I'm going with that, or am I?
No, that's how big of a badass is that Kevin Costner appeared in 2 movies for baseball movies, and he also appeared in Yellowstone. You put both of those characters together, and you get Nolan Ryan.
Yes.
Has Nolan Ryan been in Yellowstone? Is that what you're trying to say?
When they sent Jimmy down to Texas,
Exactly.
that was his ranch. You can't learn out a cowboy here.
That's where the real cowboys are in Texas, son.
So I guess I need to just watch Yellowstone.
We're just saying, he was a rancher and a badass pitcher.
No, I haven't watched it.
Dude, you got fucking issues.
I don't have issues.
Sit down and watch.
It's load management on anything longer than a half hour. It's hard for me to commit to.
Dude, it's a man's show. Come on.
I'm sure it's. I've only heard good things. It's the most streamed show in the world. Did you know that?
I think it's bullshit that Costner wouldn't come out for the last season. How do you leave us hanging like that?
Yeah.
Did he die? Did they kill his character off?
No, he just.
They're finishing it this fall, but he wasn't willing to commit past that, and
So they're having another episode or another season?
yep.
Is it going to be the end of it?
Yes.
How many seasons has it gone?
4 or 5?
5.
Okay, is that the appropriate amount? Do you think they're screwing up?
I think a lot of these stream shows like that, 5 to 6 seasons is all you can get.
But like you can't end it now because there's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah. See, for them to set up, they need to do another season. But if we look at Cobra Kai, it should be over. They should do another season, right? They finished everything.
You kind of felt like
I felt like they're like reaching now for like new characters.
yeah,
to
it's
come
going
out
to
of
lose
the works.
interest.
They need to stop now and keep it like up there.
They've jumped the shark. It's done.
The Stranger Things almost needs one more season the way they left it off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go to, I'm just thinking Netflix shows here. You go to Outer Banks, it should be over.
I haven't even watched Outer Banks. I'll tell you, I've only
Watch the
lost
third
interest.
season of it. They're making a 4th one. They should end it after 3. After 3, it makes sense. Boom, it's done. That's what you gave us.
But now aren't they doing the?
But they're so popular. Let's throw another season
They have the
out
Tim
there.
McGraw show. That's Yellowstone, right? Isn't that?
That was 1883.
Someone needs to hand me
the.
the remote so I can turn on the Braves game.
Who are they playing?
The Rockies.
They had like 1917, 1923. That's Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford's in that. That's
1923.
right. Is that also Yellowstone?
Yes.
What the hell?
They're spinoffs.
My
Yeah,
God,
they're
we got
they are,
1945 too.
Prequels.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like based on the history of that ranch.
Yep.
Huh. I didn't realize there was 2, but now
here's
what
the
you say,
thing.
I remember
No,
seeing
there's
that
a whole
Harrison
story
Ford.
about how it got to where it is now.
They had Tim McGraw had a cameo on the regular Yellowstone to kind of show this series is coming because they flashed back to like the 1880s.
Oh,
It was
okay. I was
showing-
asking, like, is he supposed to be a descendant?
And they were
Well-
showing what happened with the ranch, and it was showing him with the Indians and stuff, and that's when they.
Faith Hill's in that too.
Yeah,
actually.
see, that kind of ruins it for me.
Yeah.
I heard that Matthew McConaughey was going to take over for Costner if they get the series going.
All right.
Oh no!
Is he going to drive a Lincoln?
God, why are we never going to get to our 5 favorite movies? And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. I don't know what we're talking about.
No, we're not doing it tonight.
No, we're definitely not doing it
I know we're not doing it tonight, but god dang it, we're never going to do it.
The anticipation just grows by the week we refuse to talk about it.
Exactly.
There'll definitely be...
Hey, our attendance is up. Listens are up.
Yeah.
50%. Make them wait.
Make them wait. It's the allure. You gotta do the finish right.
Who else do you listen to that takes Nolan Ryan to Kevin Costner?
Exactly. Yes,
Even lost Chad.
One Canadian biggie. I was trying to figure out if...
But you guys do that too. Like, you see a real life person, and you're like, I've seen them played in a movie. Even though it wasn't meant to be the same, it was the same.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think the week we'll get to the movie conversation. Do you need help?
No, I just got to reach further with these little T-Rex arms.
Joko Gadget.
It's T-Rex, man.
What was I saying?
He was still a predator, damn it.
He's a scavenger.
No, he was a predator.
No.
He just took what he wanted.
Off of dead carcasses.
No.
With those arms, he wasn't taking anything.
I don't care what science says. Dinosaurs will never have feathers to me.
That's the most disappointing thing about watching all the Jurassic Parks and knowing real dinosaurs is the fact they were all feathered. No, they can't be feathered.
I never heard they were feathered.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't believe that.
They're like birds. See? Screw science.
They were all like birds, even the ones that didn't fly.
Yeah. Like, go Google like what a T-Rex is supposed to look like.
There's never been a freaking movie with feathers.
The last Jurassic World they made, they started to put feathers on the raptors.
That's stupid.
You didn't know?
Well, I'll start now.
Did you watch that one?
No.
Don't. It sucks.
No, I think I did.
It's the one where it's like a forest fire or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen it. It was okay.
That's okay is a more positive way than I'd put it.
Well, of course, you're the guru. He should have used a different camera.
I love Jurassic Park.
You would have liked that one because it had Jeff Goldblum tying in farmers or agricultural companies making their seed a certain way so that it would only eat certain. You would love that. That's right up your alley.
Monsanto was the villain of Jurassic World all along. Like, that's so stupid.
Chad would be like, here's how Chad watches a movie then. It's a pretty good action scene, but they should have panned in 10 seconds ago. I'll give it a 6.
No, I'm trying to think of an example. What was
That's true, damn it.
I'm trying to...
Laura, I feel sorry for you.
I have a real recent example. What was I watching? It was like a fight scene, too. And I was just like...
He's carrying his left a little low, Monty.
This is so ridiculous. But I was enjoying it. But in my head, I was like, this is such bullshit. But just enjoy the ride. Shut up. But I couldn't. I just had to keep
That's my point.
I know. But I think it's only on serious movies I get like that. If it's supposed to be dumb, then I don't have the suspended disbelief the same way, and I'm a little better. More tolerable.
I've literally messaged your wife and said, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
like, just don't watch movies with him. I don't know what to tell you.
It's a bastard, son of a bitch. But we'll probably get to the movie conversation. There is a period of the year that there's only 2 days in the entire calendar. There's not any sports from the Big Four. Do you know when that is?
Right now.
No, baseball's tonight.
Oh, I thought you said no.
There's 2 days in the entire calendar.
All I know is for the next 3 months, it's only baseball.
There's 2 days in the entire year. There's no sports from the Big Four.
No idea.
You have a guess, Biggie?
Sometime in November.
Nope.
It's in October. October, November.
No. NFL's going on.
But it's a day, so like a Wednesday.
You got NBA.
All right, what are they? What are they?
The only days that are free of sports is the day before and after the All-Star break.
Huh? That's true.
That's the only time.
That's true because baseball's the only sport.
Yep.
Oh.
Every other time. Because when the NBA does it, hockey's still going, football's going, college football might be going. I mean, it's just too much. But that was it. I saw that, and I thought that was really interesting. So maybe then,
that's a good tidbit.
Maybe All-Star Weekend we'll get to the movies. Can that be a loose commitment?
It's always loose with us.
You're damn right.
Nice and loose.
That's the way I like it. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening. We're going to start a bonfire tonight.
It's not dry enough.
Too wet.
I got some brush. It's not dry. Just cut it.
There's nothing more I enjoy than coming to the podcast and staring into the bowels of
I've spoiled you guys.
The farm.
Hey, but we got more. But
I want to watch the movie Air tonight.
It's good.
I want to play some NBA Jam.
I'll do that too.
All right.
Got that dog in him.
Got that dog. Don't ever forget, Rip got that dog. We'll see you someday. But all right, let's call it a show. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We should see you next week. I'm on vacation next week too, but I'm not going anywhere.
Nice.
So hopefully,
staycation.
I'm not either. So let's hit lunch a few days.
Hells yeah. You got it. Dap, Biggie, call off work. We'll see you too. All right, we'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.